Peace, y'all. It's the Lord here, Cold World. I'm over here kicking it with my main man, Jay Wiggs. What's good, sir?
It's good, Brodie.
Can't call it. Just welcome everybody back to another episode of Brodie Sports Talk. We're on Bestie 18. Moving right along, pushing for number 20. We're moving right along here, man.
Let's go.
This is a movement here. I'll probably say before the end of the month, we'll do another tally to see if we have reached our goal, folks, of 500,000 views. I'm pretty sure we're getting there. Again, if you aren't following, you need to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Follow Brodie Sports Talk. Click on the bottom right-hand corner, like and subscribe. Show your love. Again, we're trying to get to 500,000 views, and once we hit that mark, we're gonna go for a million. And if we reach a million, you might not be able to tell us anything. But getting started here, like I've been saying for the past few weeks, my favorite phrase: if you've been living under a rock, you would have known that last night was a bittersweet situation for ladies basketball. I say bittersweet because it got a lot of attention media-wise, but for all the wrong reasons. And that is simply this, bad juju. Basically, the best lady basketball player in the country, with all the promise to lead the Lady Trojans to a possible national championship, unfortunately suffered a season-ending injury with an ACL tear. Normally, whenever it's a non-contact injury and the player grabs their knee, it's normally automatic. It's either an ACL tear or an Achilles injury, something like that. Very unfortunate. She was definitely my pick to win the ladies national championship, between them and one of the final four picks that we got in our segment to follow this. But very, very, sad news for her. Wishing her a speedy recovery. The good news is it's 2025, meaning that medically we have advanced very like super, compared to like the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Back in the day, an ACL tear was the death kiss for any athlete. Your career was done. Dale Sayers, great example. He was one of the best running backs that could have been. Depending on who's ranking him, but towards ACL back in the 70s, that was a death kiss for your career. Versus Adrian Peterson, towards ACL, very next season ran for 2,000 yards. So, RG3 had a pretty, he didn't have a successful year after the ACL tear, but he did come back a year later. So the point is, all is not lost. She's still young, so she still has time to recuperate and still have much of her old normalcy left. But, with those injuries, man, you become a new normal, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might not be as fast anymore, or you might not be able to cut on a dime like you used to. So, Wiggs, I'll start off with asking you this. What's the impact of JuJu Watkins' injury?
Well, let me just start like you did a little bit, Co. First, just shout outs to JuJu. Amazing year. She ends the year already with the most point, or the second most points, I think, for the total year. As far as points scored by a woman in college sports. And that alone tells you the impact that JuJu has had in not just college sports, but the sports world, period. This is what our headline is right now, but just yesterday we had JuJu was a leading headline. Just yesterday, going into the show that we were going to do, we ended up shooting our show a day later. But we literally had to change the headline because that's how big JuJu is. She's a headline star. She's a headline player. So just prayers going up for JuJu. We talked about the women last week. Like I said, she's a headline for us this week. This is not the headline we want to be reporting on. It's just one of the most unfortunate things. So speedy recovery, JuJu. Just to keep it personal a little bit. But then, all right, let's take a deeper look at the impact that this injury has. One on JuJu, and then two on the women's sport as well as the WNBA. So like I said, like you said, for JuJu, she's young. I think she can recover from this. You mentioned the medicine being one aspect. I completely agree with you on that one. Like, we're in a much better place in 2025. Whether it's American doctors or going overseas, they're gonna get the best person in the world to work with JuJu. So that part of it should be good. I think the part that you start to worry about, or not worry about injury wise, but just worry about recovery wise, is, do you trust yourself? I think that's one of the hardest parts about recovering from an injury like this. I've never had to recover from an ACL injury, but just injuries, period. It's, can I trust that this thing is going to do what I need it to do the next time, like you said, I try to cut on a dime? Or, I mean, I was watching that game last night. She was moving so well. My brother and I were watching it, and he kind of said this. He's like she's moving fast, like faster than we normally see her play. And it's the playoffs. Hey, shout out to Honey G. It's the playoffs. So you try to take it up a notch. You try to take it up a level. And the way that I would describe it is, and this happens to great players, it's almost like she was in overdrive.
I was just about to say that. Like, the way she was running down the court, she was running full steam. She had a chip on her shoulder. Like, she was playing with a mission. And I didn't get a clear view, but I don't know if she maybe stepped the wrong way or tried to cut too quick, and she was just moving too fast, and her body just couldn't react fast enough. Kind of like with Bo Jackson when he slipped his hip when he got tackled. It was like one of those.
And like I said, and this is what, like I said, it happens to everybody. Injuries happen to everybody, but certain injuries happen to better players. I think Kyrie Irving just had an ACL tear. He was having a very similar type of game. I can't remember what team they were playing, but Kyrie's on the Mavs after the Luka trade, so it's kind of, AD is down. All right, let me do it. I'm the leader of this team. I'm gonna show the guys that I can carry us. He's out there. He's busting his ass, playing real hard, and you try to do a little bit more. And sometimes when you do that, it's very much. You brought up RG3. That was RG3's injury. Trying to do too much. You're trying to. I think he was in the playoffs. You're trying to take your game to the next level. You're trying to ignore, just any small nagging injuries, and the body's just like, I don't have that level. I don't have that gear. Yeah. Just like with Kobe and the Achilles injury. And
I think, honestly, what could have been a contributing factor to it as well is that wear and tear, right? Like, you're playing all through the year, you're practicing, you're playing at a high level literally all throughout the year. That alone takes a toll on your body. You get little injuries throughout the season that you push through. That also tears on the body. And then in JuJu's case, and then, like Kobe and a lot of other players like Kyrie Irving as well, when you have other players go down, or if you don't have a strong enough support cast, you end up taxing yourself more than any other player that may have more help. And that can also contribute to the injury bug as well if you're not careful. JuJu was the leading scorer on their team, and she did a lot of stuff. And she's very athletic as well. For her size. She's not like Brittany Grenier, where she's like almost 7 feet tall, or she's not stocky like Oscar Wilson, or like she's kind of brittle, if you will. Like, she's not, you know what I'm saying? So again, with all of the wear and tear that she was already putting up with the tournament and the year-long plan, and if you watched our show last week, Brodie, you would know that the ladies' WNBA draft is not too far after the tournament. So after they play, they get drafted, then they go to their new team. They got maybe about a month or two off, maybe, and then they're back to playing again. And then when that season's over, they got the rival league now. So now, and overseas, so they're constantly playing all throughout the year, and that cannot help your body's just sustained, especially when you're doing moves like cutting and jumping and landing, on the floor. That hurts your joints, man. So
let me add another aspect into it too, Co, because JuJu had her Nike commercial play last night. I don't know if you've seen the ad. It's just kind of a quick ad. It says "You can't win, so win." I think her and Aja Wilson might be in the same kind of ad. But that's another reason that these players are, especially a player like JuJu, a player like Jayden Daniels, it's not just you anymore. Again, we talked about this with LeBron and being the face of the league with Anthony Edwards. You already got the contract, bro. You're the face of the league. You signed with Sprite, Anthony Edwards. Same thing with JuJu. JuJu now signs with Nike. She signs with Gatorade. Now when she's on the court, she's playing for more than herself. She's got the school on her back. Mm-hmm. You're playing for USC. USC is giving you money now. This isn't the days of old in college sports where you just play and you get your tuition paid. No, we're paying you $1 million, or this sponsorship is giving you $1 million. So that's even more reason that you're going to go out and press and try so hard.
Yeah.
So that part, I think about that part as well. And then the impact of the one thing about the women's sport, and we might be able to get into the Final Four here, but the one thing about the women's sport, you mentioned the fact that they get drafted right away. In the women's NCAA, you can't get drafted until you play 4 years. So this is kind of good timing for JuJu. She's a sophomore. Mm-hmm. So she still has 2 more years of eligibility after this. Let's basically just take out next year, call next year a wash. You can either redshirt that year and still come back and have two more years of eligibility because she's already played 2. So she can take out next year, and that'll put her at 26, 27, and 28. So she still has a ton of time to play in college before she gets to the WNBA. But, once she starts playing again, it's not going to stop, like you mentioned. It's going to go right from playing college to getting drafted to the season starts to unrivaled now. The landscape of things and our attention span is changing so much. Sports, it's like even the NFL. The NFL changes schedule to basically have kind of things lined up so you never get bored. Mm-hmm. They never want to let you stop thinking about it so long that it's like, all right, I'm forgetting about it. No, it's like, no, we're going to have this league. And, who is it? Ice Cube has the Big 3. Mm-hmm. He has some NBA players playing in that. They do their summer tournament. So there's a lot to think about. Like I said, I don't know if you want to get into the Final Four now, Co, or if there's anything else you want to say about JuJu. But yeah, the impact is huge. It's big. It takes out a little bit of the excitement for the rest of the tournament without mentioning the Final Four teams. Yeah. I'll just speak on the teams that are remaining. I was really looking forward to USC versus UConn to decide who was going to come out of that bracket. Paige Beckers versus JuJu. Who's the best in the country? This is Paige's last year. This is JuJu's sophomore year. They had a great game last year. That's a game and that was this weekend. We were 1 week away from being able to see that greatness. So that's something that's just really disappointing.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest impact this injury has is the viewership. For this year's tournament and for next year's season. Because I mean, like we said, it's a wash. I'd probably say an ACL injury in today's modern times is going to be about an 8 to 12 month, realistically, 8 to 12 month recovery. And then from there, like we said earlier, mentally, she's going to have to make sure that she's there as well. I've had a few injuries in, my, sports career. I've had a bunch of jammed fingers, broken fingers, sprained ankles, fractured toes. Once you get over the mental block, that's when things will kind of take form. So honestly, realistically, it's going to be about a 2-year turnaround time for her physically and mentally. So she'll be ready to go come draft time. Financially, I think the sport is going to take a little bit of a hit. Just to be honest, because now you got another year that you have to wait for her to get drafted, as opposed to her coming out in 2027. Now it's 2028, so that's a year of revenue that you're missing out. A year of a wave of fan base that she was going to carry. To the franchise that she gets drafted by. So we definitely wish her the best of luck. But with that, again, transitioning into the next segment, because of the injury, what it impacts the Final Four. So we got Wig's Final Four edition here for the ladies. Who do you have for the Spokane 1 division?
I know, kind of crazy names. I don't know why they didn't just go Midwest, West, and East.
They have to be different.
But in the Spokane region, we're gonna go with UCLA. I got the UCLA ladies coming out of this region. They're the number 1 team in the country, surprisingly over South Carolina and USC. Only lost 2 games this season. They look good so far in the tournament. I mean, you can tell the level of competition on the ladies' side is not. It doesn't completely fill out the bracket. These are some games that are going like 100 points to 50, and I think UCLA won like 84 to 60 something. So they look like they have a pretty easy way to finish out this region. I don't know that they can go any further, but I do have them coming out of the Spokane 1 region.
Yeah, just from looking at it, I mean, a lot of these teams, they're not scoring enough points, man. Like, I'm just looking at some of these scores: 103 to 48.
Yeah.
83 to 65, 74 to 49, 84 to 46.
It makes it hard to watch the games. Like, you can watch maybe the first 10 minutes, and after that, the better team is up 10 or 20 points already in the first 10 minutes. So it's these games aren't games that are really interesting at this point. But it's kind of like the JuJu game. JuJu, to me, is the headliner. That's the game I turned on. I'm going to be completely honest. I can't watch all these games. Like I said, they're not competitive enough. And the same thing goes for the men's side. The same thing goes. So this is not just the women are not good. No, there are some really good players on these women's teams, and it's fun to watch them. But the competition is not up to the level that you want to see it at this point of the tournament. It's going to get there. But if you don't have the star power like a JuJu or Paige Beckers, hey, you got to, what I always say, cuz you got to prove it.
I don't know you.
I don't know you. You got to prove it. So UCLA, we'll be looking forward to see what they do this weekend coming up. They're going to face a little bit better competition. We're down to the Sweet 16. So I'll really be looking forward to see how they look. I'm still going somewhere else to get past them, but we can talk about that after this weekend and see if they even make it.
Yeah, if they get past Ole Miss, Ole Miss finished 20-10, and
that's not going to be good enough.
Yeah, and UCLA is 30-2, so that's a pretty big difference in win. I would probably say they'll get past this. They're going to have some issues with LSU, because they're just as good. But who do you got for Spokane 4?
So coming out of the Spokane 4 region again, this is the region everybody was looking forward to the matchup of JuJu versus Paige. We won't be seeing that anymore. Kiki Arefin really filled in well for JuJu last night. Shout out to my girl Malia Samuels. Oh man, that's a nice looking player right there. Hey, we might have to take that part out, cause I don't know.
Nope. Live.
Hey, it's live. Hey, I don't know what I'm talking about right now. We'll do it live. But USC really stepped up after the after the JuJu injury. Shout out to all the girls. K9, another player that stepped up. Who else? They had a freshman that was playing really, really well too. I can't remember her name, but I just can't go with USC without JuJu, so I'm gonna go with UConn. Paige Beckers, Sarah Strong, ZZ Fudd, who says she's going to be returning next year. That was kind of surprising. ZZ Fudd has She had 27 points in the first game of this tournament. Had a really good game yesterday. Sarah Strong's a freshman that looks like she can be like the next Lady Jokic in this league. So UConn has a really good team. Like I said, Paige Beckers is probably the best player remaining. She was, we know Paige is like that. Paige is one of the best players in the country. But now without JuJu, she's without a doubt, probably the player to look for. So I have UConn coming out of Spokane for. What do you think, Cub?
Yeah, definitely agree. I mean, UConn, the lady UConn basketball player, they've been dominating the ladies
for a long time.
For years now. I mean, I don't follow much college basketball, men or ladies. But what I do know is that the lady UConn, I've been winning championships for as long as I can remember. Every time I check in, they're
Gino Auriemma. Gino Auriemma, the Lady Huskies. Yeah, man. Gino's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, I definitely like that pick. And switching sides here, we're going to Birmingham 2. Who do you got for Birmingham 2?
All right, for Birmingham 2 region, we're going to go with Dawn Staley's squad, South Carolina. Malaysia Fulwiley has been representing the backcourt for South Carolina. They have a lot of talented players. Dawn is going to have her girls ready to play every year. Mm-hmm. She's just a great coach. I just brought up Gino Auriemma, but and Dawn Staley's probably the only one that's been able to match, kind of what Gino was doing in the old days with the undefeated records and going with players from Aaliyah Boston to Asia Wilson that have played under Dawn. And now, like I said, they got Fulwiley leading the pack. So I see South Carolina coming out of this region. You might have to remind me who you think could go against them in the next couple of rounds, Cole. But I don't know that there's anybody competing with South Carolina in that region per se.
Yeah, I would say just from what it looks like, South Carolina is probably going to make the championship again this year. Now it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. But yeah, I like South Carolina. Just looking up at the stats here, just to show how much of a perennial contender they've been. The South Carolina Gamecocks women's basketball team has earned a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament a total of 9 times, with their most recent one coming in 2025. That's pretty stellar.
That's pretty good.
And a lot of times, like I said, outside of the Cinderella stories, which are once in a blue moon, it's normally the top 3 teams that normally make it and normally end up winning. So I got South Carolina winning the title. That's just my personal pick. I think they can go back to back. So, but I definitely like that pick. It's going to be a tough road. But who do you got for Birmingham 3?
All right, for the Birmingham 3 region, I actually think Notre Dame can come out of this side. So I have, just for the Final Four especially, I definitely have Notre Dame. But I think Notre Dame can beat South Carolina just to get ahead of ourselves a little bit, Cub. I think Notre Dame has a chance to beat them. And the reason being is their point guard, their backcourt is very, very special. They have two young ladies that are dynamic. Hannah Hidalgo and Miles are just very, very good. Now, defensively, they're good. But I guess what I was about to say is South Carolina defensively is probably going to challenge them more than any other team has challenged Notre Dame this season. So that'll be a really, really good game to watch. But for the Final Four purposes, Notre Dame, I have them coming out of Birmingham 3. Like I said, Hidalgo and Miles in the backcourt, they're just really, really good. I think Hidalgo is a freshman, and she was one of the top 5 players of the year. So that goes to show how dynamic she is. And Miles reminds me of a female Magic Johnson. She's their point guard. She has for a point guard in the women's size. She has a lot of size. She's very quick and she makes great passes. So Notre Dame is in really good hands, and I think they can go to the chip. I think if we get too far ahead of ourselves, I think UConn beats Notre Dame for the championship.
Wouldn't be too far off. I mean, if UConn wins, I mean they've won within the last few years, so definitely something to reckon with. I mean, if Hannah, I'm going to butcher her last name. Is Hida?
Hidalgo.
Yeah, Hidalgo. She's averaging over 24 points a game.
She's like that. She's
if
nice.
Her and is it Latu King
and Miles. I think the point guard's name is Miles.
Yeah, so Olivia Miles, she's averaging 6 assists a game.
Yeah, she's nice.
King is averaging 10 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
And Hannah's averaging 24 points a game.
They got a squad, man.
They got a squad. That's definitely not going to be an
easy one for the South Carolina girls.
Win, yeah. It's not going to be easy win. But like the winners, I would probably say the winners of those two matchups the next round will determine like who's going to win that chip, basically.
Yeah.
It's between UConn, Notre Dame, and my pick will be South Carolina because I got to go with the system, at the head coaching position. So
no, that's a good point. Dawn Staley is definitely gonna make her mark in this in the series. She's, like you said, she won the championship the last 2 years, I believe. I believe she did. I could be wrong, but I know she won the last one.
She won last year.
Yeah, I know she won last year. So she's gonna make her impact felt. If anybody can, it'll be her and Gino. So I would not be surprised to see Gino versus Dawn for the championship. But my pick will be UConn beating the Notre Dame ladies. So
yeah, I mean, Paige she's senior year. I mean, she missed a few opportunities when Angel Reese won hers.
She got injured as well. Paige did a couple years ago.
Injuries. So this will be the ultimate like culmination for her. So I definitely agree with that. But moving on here to the fellas, we got a nice update here. How sweet it is. The Pats, baby.
Let's go, Maryland.
Off the bench shot by your boy, Mr. McQueen. It was an awkward shot. If you look at it, he was shooting off the wrong foot. And he was fading away to the opposite side. I mean, it's the basketball god's favorite, that jump shot, man. But, this has been the first, I'm not sure if it's the first time we've advanced to the Sweet 16 since Juan Dixon.
No, not Juan Dixon days.
Who was after
Juan? I want to say Grievous Vasquez. I don't know if you remember that point guard. Grievous Vasquez days.
It's been a few years.
It has been a while, though. It's definitely been a while since Maryland's been good enough to make the Sweet 16, for sure.
Yeah, and not only that, the other 3 picks from your Final Four from last week are also still in the contending. So listen up, Brodies. If you didn't follow us during the NFL season for our Wigs Parlay Locks, understand that the Brodies know what the hell they're talking about. We know how to pick them, man. Okay?
Listen,
even our wrong picks hit in someone else's parlay.
I'm telling you, I made some good money this weekend on my bets, on my parlays. And I think I heard Stephen A. kind of say he brought up the point that there weren't a lot of Cinderellas this year.
Yeah, there aren't.
So that's an interesting take. With the transfer portal, certain teams are getting better players because they have the money to pay them better. So you kind of know where the better players are going to go. And once you see that, the teams are what the teams are. And that does make it a little bit easier to pick. You never know what's going to happen in March Madness. Like we said, the Maryland win was the first buzzer beater of the tournament. And that was a 5 versus 12. Colorado State played a great game versus Maryland. They were making the 3-pointers early. They were playing hard, playing good defense. Derek Queen started out hot. He made 2 threes right away. Made another mid-range bucket, and then got in foul trouble and just sat down. But I think a couple people spoke about the coach saying when it came down to the final minute and the final shot, he went in the huddle and he said, "Who wants the ball?" And Derek Queen said, "I want the MF ball." Hey, you gotta love that as a coach, as a fan, as a player, as a teammate. Like, you want your best player to have that confidence. Give me the mother ball. Like, I love to hear stuff like that.
And just get out the way.
And get out the way. And after the game, they say, where'd you get the confidence? He said, "I'm from Baltimore." Like, when you're a black kid in America and you grow up damn near anywhere you grow up, you could grow up in a white neighborhood as a black kid. You went through some stuff. But if you grew up in the inner city, like a Baltimore, a Detroit, a DC, you've been tested. Angel Reese said it. Angel Reese said, "I'm from Baltimore. Like, I've been tested. I've been in high schools where, everybody's cheering against us. And, you've been in tough environments. So you can come to this stage, and it might be a bigger stage, but you've already felt pressure." Derek Queen stepped up to the plate and just made the shot. Was it a travel? Apparently, it's 2025, and it gathers.
I don't want to hear.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Anything about traveling, because all the crab dribbling and the multi-euro step.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear that crap no more. I don't like. Let's just throw the whole rule book out the window, because no one calls anything anymore. But
absolutely.
One thing I want to ask you, Wiggs, about the next round. They played the number 1 seed in Florida. They struggled rebounding the ball. They gave up over 10 offensive rebounds. Okay. Yes. And their bench didn't give them any rebounds at all. Can they get over the Florida hump without effective rebounding?
It's going to be a very tough game for Maryland. And that's a great question, Coach. That's something I noticed in Maryland's game versus Michigan in the Big Ten tournament. Is Derek Queen? They have maybe Julian Reese, which is Andrew Reese's brother. Is their other big, and right now the Maryland team is being called the Crab Five after the Fab Five because they have really good starters. But like you just mentioned, Cole, the bench is not giving them any help right now. It could be coaching. It could just be they don't have the talent. But right now, it's the starting 5 that are doing it. And if Derek Queen gets tired, Julian Reese gets tired, now you don't have the backup stepping up, or you're just getting outworked, which is what I was seeing on the court. Because Colorado State was not bigger than Maryland. Maryland had the advantage size-wise, and in my opinion, talent-wise. Again, they're the higher seed. But Colorado State was playing with them to the last second. So going up against the number 1 seed in Florida, it's going to be a very, very tough matchup. Do I see Maryland making it to the Elite 8 with a player like Derek?
You got them on the Final 4 pick.
Right. I was going to say, with a player like Derek Queen, you always have a chance. And I think that's what differentiates Maryland from anybody else. And we saw it in the game. He was the differentiator when it came down to it. Down 1, 4 seconds to go. Give me the ball and get out the way. I got this. Game. And that's the play.
That's what's probably going to, well, at least I hope so, carry them all the way to the championship. Because I'm a homebody, so
let's take it all the way
to win.
Yeah.
But like in college basketball, the alpha
one player can be the difference.
The alphas, like, they can literally carry an entire team because there's not enough alphas to go around in the tournament. So if McQueen, if he
it's not McQueen, it's just Queen.
I keep calling McQueen. If he continues to just literally let his nuts hang, like, give me the ball, get out the way, and
go for 30 and 10 every game.
You're just gonna have to. It is what it is, and hopefully 1 or 2 of these games you may have a bench player that may have like a breakout game,
right?
Or something like that. Where the shots it's just falling for him
right
tonight. We may get lucky, but if he's off, then
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. So we'll see how it goes there, Brodies. Let us know what you think here. You need to be following us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Hey, and
Click
shout
on
out
the
to
bottom
Maryland
right
women.
corner to subscribe. Go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry. Shout out to Maryland women. I know I didn't mean to cut you off, but the men made the Sweet 16, but the Maryland women did too, man. Overtime game. I mean, Alabama, one of their girls put up 45 on us, made 3 free throws to send it to overtime. That was a good game as well. So shout out to Maryland men and shout out to Maryland women for both making the Sweet 16.
Hey, it's the Caitlin Clark effect. Now all these ladies are shooting from 35 feet now, and they're making it.
They're balling. They're balling.
Yeah. I mean, I think it will be a legit statement to say that ladies college basketball is more popular than the WNBA. I think you can make a huge argument for that.
You can definitely make that argument.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a topic for later. But switching sports here, we are going back to the gridiron, the good old pigskin. Just giving you guys some updates with the free agency frenzy. It's slowed down a little bit, but some signings have been made, and we got some journeymen, some old players that have found new destinations. This will be for some of these players their second, third, or maybe even fourth team in their career. But starting off with the top two that have recently been reported, Stephon Diggs signs a 3-year deal with the New England Patriots for $69 million, over $20 million fully guaranteed, fresh off an ACL injury. And then we got Chef Wilson making his way from Pittsburgh, not too far. Pennsylvania's not too far from New York. You're hopping on 95 North and going all the way up to New Jersey, actually, because that's where they play, with the New York Football Giants. He's going to be competing out there for the starting position with Jameis Winston, depending on if they draft a quarterback. Actually, now that I think about it, now that they got famous Jameis and Russell Wilson, they may not draft a quarterback.
That's a good point. And I think a little bit of that has to deal with the dynamic wide receiver that they have in Malik Neighbors, which is we don't want to waste his time. We know that Malik Neighbors is ready to jump ship and play with Jayden Daniels tomorrow if he can. So I think the Giants are like, we got to get somebody good in here, because if we have another year where Malik Neighbors is not utilized to the best of his ability, we might have a problem. So I actually think the Russell Wilson, a huge problem. The Jameis, you mentioned Russell Wilson and Stephon Diggs. Like you said, the Giants also signed Jameis Winston. I thought that was a good signing because Jameis is going to throw that ball to his number one receiver.
Yep.
That's one thing Jameis is going to do is put that ball up and give you a chance. So I think Malik Neighbors is probably the happiest person in New York today, because now he has two quarterbacks that are capable of succeeding in the passing game, and two quarterbacks that are not run first quarterbacks as well. So Malik Neighbors is he's going up the draft boards.
Yeah. Also, a fun fact, I also like to point this out anytime I get a chance, but the NFC East is now an all-black quarterback division.
That's what's up. So Dak is the oldest quarterback in the division right now.
I think Dak is the oldest.
Well, not older than Russell, but
Wilson and Jameis Winston.
He's the longest tenured, I should say.
Yeah.
The longest tenured.
Then Dak, then Jalen, and
then JD5.
Yeah.
Wow, that's what's up, man. I mean, it's amazing to see. Let me take a second and make it personal. It's amazing to see us in those positions.
Yeah.
The NFC East is one of the top divisions in football. Yeah. Like when you talk about the Cowboys and Redskins, the Eagles, the New York Football Giants, these are four of the top teams in the league, four of the top franchises in the league.
Yeah. They're the only division that have multiple Super Bowl winning team. They're the only division that have all teams win multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah. So to say that these all 4 teams are being led by black quarterbacks. That's something that you definitely have to take, at least on our show, we're going to take a moment to say that, to acknowledge it, and just give them their love. So yeah, definitely
this
shout
part
out.
of the love that we show. Okay,
I'm telling you, look,
we don't discriminate. We show love and we show hate.
Hey, so yeah, we definitely in this moment got to show some love to the black quarterbacks in today's day and age, because one, sports is not a DEI thing. If you're in your position, you earned it. It ain't no DEI in sports. So
yeah,
it ain't no, these guys are just playing a position. They only got it because they're black. Nah, every single one of these quarterbacks is there because they deserved it. So Daniel Jones was the last white hope for the NFC East, and the Giants said, "Let's go a different direction, man. We already got rid of Saquon. Let's go get us one of these black quarterbacks, because we losing to black quarterbacks every week. So let's go get 2.
We got swept by 1 down 95.
Hey, they said we've been losing to so many black quarterbacks. Let's go get 2. They got Jameis.
If you can't beat them, join them.
If you can't beat them, join them. So that's actually a really good point, Cole, thinking about it. And the fact that they signed Jameis and Russell is like, yo, that's even more funny now. They said, let's go get 2. Yeah. We need all the black quarterbacks we can get.
Right. Let's stop trying to do the white thing. The right thing.
The right thing. Hey.
And let's go get ourselves a brother.
Oh man. So and I think they're better for it. I think Jameis is good, but I think Russell is that prototypical point guard. He's gonna get the ball to the right player. I think I talked about some of the things that the Steelers struggled with this year, which is Russell gets to the line and he says, okay, I know what we need to do.
Yeah.
That might work for the Giants. You got a dynamic wide receiver. You got Tyrone Tracy in the backfield. So you got talent. And now you just need a distributor. And the defense was actually very good last year. So
and he got the number 3 pick. So they got the pick of the litter, man. So
and you said they don't need a quarterback anymore.
You know what?
I said, and you said they don't need a quarterback, so now you can insert Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter.
Travis Hunter, he could fall to number 3.
He could fall to number 3. So that and it seems like the teams at the top are trying to figure out which player do we want. The Titans didn't sign any quarterback, so I'm going to say the Titans are going to go Cam Ward. The Browns are at number 2. I don't think the Browns signed a quarterback.
They're probably going to bring in Kirk Cousins
after the draft or before the draft.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll probably end up doing with their number 2 pick, hopefully, if they watch the show, is take the best player available.
Okay. And you say that too, Abdul Carter. So Cam Ward goes first, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders. I think those are the 3 that are considered with the number 2 pick.
Would be a great pick for the Browns, but
they still have Myles Garrett.
They just extended Myles Garrett to that big contract.
Mm-hmm.
Do they?
That might be too much for one position.
His confidence by bringing in his replacement, because that's who he will be. So and keep in mind, this is the Browns, so they're going to brown it up. All right.
That's right.
So they're probably going to end up taking a player that's not going to be in the league 3 years from now. So I hate to say it, but it's true. But if they do happen to luck up, they'll probably end up taking like a wide receiver, or some type of skilled player, one of the 2. Because I really feel that they're going to bring in Kirk Cousins, because right now they're not in win now mode, but with Kirk Cousins, that at least makes them a legit contender. And one thing about the NFC East and the AFC North is the division winner continues to interchange. So, they're not going to be a favorite.
You got a chance.
But with Kirk Cousins, Jared Jeudy, bring Nick Chubb back, Myles Garrett's happy. You add another skill player on offense or defense via draft. Who knows? You may be able to get in with a 9-7 record or 9-8.
Yeah,
record.
I think they made it 2 years ago with Joe Flacco filling in at the end of the year. So they're not too far off.
Stefanski is a great coach. So
and let's also mention the Steelers. Who do the Steelers have at quarterback now? Justin Fields and Russell Wilson are both gone.
Based off of the segment we're in, let's go ahead and take a look. I mean, that's a great question. Right now, Aaron Rodgers is the favorite. He's still available.
Okay, so that's a free agent that is he a top free agent, coach? Is Aaron Rodgers a top free agent?
Right now, based off of this depth chart that they have on NFL.com, he is the third ranked highest player available. So we got
Amari Cooper. Care about NFL.com. What do you think, Co? We're the analysts.
Quarterback wise, yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers, you still think Aaron Rodgers is a top quarterback in the league?
Hands down the best quarterback available right now.
Is he a top 10 quarterback in the league, Aaron Rodgers?
No. Aaron Rodgers right now
top 15.
Is like 20.
You don't have him top 15?
No, I think I can name 15 quarterbacks better than him.
Ooh, I think I'll definitely give him 20. I think I might give him 15. Because I think once you get past 10, they start to get interchangeable. You know, like
if he's top 15, he's number 15. You know what I'm saying?
Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins?
Right now, give me Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson?
Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson? Give me Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold?
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. I think we're on the same page then. So he's probably 15. He's right in the middle of the pack. He's a little older.
Number one quarterback on the QB free agency countdown we did a few weeks ago. If he was a legitimate free agent at the time we did the show, he would have been number one on my list for sure. But you know, Amari Cooper still available. Asante Samuel Jr. still available. Calais Campbell at 39 years old surprisingly still wants to play. J.K. Dobbins surprisingly is still available. Zadarius Smith also another one. Very surprised that he's still available. I'm surprised we haven't picked him up. But Stephon Gilmore, let's see, Justin Simmons. Yeah.
Justin Simmons, man. I think we should go get him.
Keenan Allen. I like Brandon Sheriff.
Keenan Allen. Hey, all three of those names.
If they brought in Keenan Allen and Brandon Sheriff, Super Bowl.
Straight face, Super Bowl. Hey, Super Bowl, baby.
Super Bowl. Okay, but you know, overall here, Brodie's, we're just going to have to wait until the draft to see where the rest of these players are going to land. But a lot of journeymen still out there.
I think it's that. I also think is price, because I think the Stephon Diggs price that threw me for a loop.
Well, I mean, like we mentioned off camera, the 69
can be deceptive.
For 3 years, 69 million. It sounds like a lot of money, but it's Stephon Diggs. You know, I could, but he's fresh off an ACL tear. But I mean, fresh off the ACL tear, Stephon Diggs is the best weapon the Patriots have.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And your boy Drake May needs somebody to throw to. So Stephon Diggs, he still wants to be the number one guy. Fantasy wise, I might pick him up because he's going to get a lot of targets because they have nobody else out there in New England. You know what I'm saying? Now,
that's a good one, cuz.
He got, 23, 29 some odd million guaranteed in the contract.
26.
Okay. So he's probably going to have a heavy front-loaded bonus where he's probably going to get, out of that 26 guaranteed, he's probably going to get like something that Deebo Samuels is getting this year. He's probably going to get like 17, something like that. Maybe a signing bonus of like 8 million, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. And then like another 5 or 6 million next year against the cap, and then they're going to cut him.
Facts. So, yeah, I don't see him seeing that 69 million. But that's still a good contract for him. And I think that's what a lot of the other contracts are kind of. I think that's why they're in limbo a little bit, because they probably see themselves as getting lowballed, and they're like, yo, I should be making more money than this.
Yeah.
Or I want to play with a Jayden Daniels. So either I'll wait for the right team to contact me, and that might be after the draft, or I want more money like Stephon Diggs, and he's like, I'll just wait for the right team to come and offer the right amount. So I think that's what's
point. It's for Stephon Diggs is like, look, if I'm not going to be signed, if a team that is Super Bowl caliber, if they're not going to sign me to what I want, I'm just going to take the money.
And you're coming off of ACO. Coming off of ACO, that's a smart move when you think about Stephon Diggs. Like, NFL is not for long. I'll say it every single week. The NFL stands for not for long. If you can get your money, black man. Like, I'm never gonna have a problem with that. So, good move by Stephon Diggs. Good move.
Yeah, like the move. And with Jameis Winston, it's funny how he asked Saquon Barkley which team should he sign with, and he said the Giants, and that's exactly who he ended up signing with. I'm very happy for them. They're well deserving. They're good men, good people, man. So I'm definitely glad that they got another chance. But let us know what you think there, Brodies, about the journeyman. Let us know what you think about the Sweet 16, about the JuJu injury, about everything that we've spoken on so far. You need to be following us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And you also need to be liking and subscribing. Click on the bottom right-hand corner and show your love here. But speaking of love, sometimes love is considered a feeling, and sometimes love is considered an action. Okay? And there's no greater love in this world. Okay? Not one person on this earth can love you more than this person, and that is Mama Dukes. Okay? Shout out to Mama Wig.
Shout out to Mama Dukes.
Sharon. Okay?
Shout out to the
my
moms.
wife, Mama Barbara, rest in peace, love you. Okay? Shout out to all the mamas in the world. There's no other love like a mother. There's only 3 entities that can love you unconditionally. That's God, a dog, and your mother. Okay? If you don't believe me, throw your girlfriend and a dog in the trunk for 3 hours. Come back. I guarantee you the dog will be happy to see you. You know what I'm saying? You can tell your mother anything. Anything. And she's still going to love you. Having said that here, there's a particular player in Washington who has the love of a mother unlike no other. Okay? JD5. Is JD5 on curfew? Is he a mama's boy?
Hey, I don't know, Cole. You might have to take this monologue, man. You might have to go single screen. I'm gonna jump in, but do you want to take this one first? You want to go first on this?
Off, dog. You're chopping up.
Am I chopping up? Oh yeah, let me turn that Wi-Fi off.
So here's the thing. Again, here's my phrase. If you've been living under a rock, then you would know that Jayden Daniels has a very, very strict mother. Okay. And did we lose Wiggs? We were doing really good. Did we lose Wiggs again? This guy. We'll wait till he comes back. So Jayden Daniels' mother has been very, very adamant on him in his dating world, his dating life, if you will. She's been very adamant that she wants to be very involved in his dating life because she's very concerned about him being taken advantage of, basically. I mean, he lives a life in the public. He's a superstar. He's the star quarterback of the Washington franchise. We got Wiggs back, you know what I'm saying? But just to reiterate, Jayden Daniels has a very, very strict mother. She's been very, very adamant on being involved in his dating life because she doesn't want him to get distracted. She doesn't want him to get taken advantage of because there's a lot of gold diggers out there. If you watched a few episodes ago, we talked about the whole situation with Travis Hunter and his girlfriend and how Drea preyed on a 20-year-old boy to have a kid to secure a bag, and just how athletes in general are always being taken advantage of. So she is on guard. She does not want Jayden to be taken advantage of. She wants him to be with a woman that wants to be with him for him and not the accolades and what he can do for her. And with that concern comes a lot of, how do I say this? It comes with extra baggage, if you will. Okay. Sometimes his mother can do more than what's asked. Okay. And in my personal point of view, I love every aspect of her mentality. She's protecting her son. She wants his son to focus because them hoes, especially out in DC, will have you throwing 3 interceptions a game. And I don't want my quarterback getting distracted because some floozy, some charlatan, some Jezebel, some lady of the night, some lady of the street. I want her distracting my beloved quarterback. I want this man rushing for 800 yards, throwing 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, perennial NFC championship contender, a Super Bowl within the next 3 to 5 years. Damn it.
Let's go, JD.
And we can't do that with distractions from Crease.
Okay.
Whatever you want to call it. Okay. And I'm not sitting here saying that he has to be celibate. Okay. I'm not sitting here saying put the chastity belt on. But Mom, at the same time, I'm 24 years old. I'm a millionaire. And not only that, I'm a star of the NFL, which is America's sport. The whole world knows me. The whole sports world knows me. And I'm him. I can see if I had a fluke smoking a mirror season like RG3 in 2012 when everybody figured his ass out in the offseason. You ain't figuring this guy out. He's elite. He's the truth. And this guy is going to go to the next level. You're looking, ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing one of the greatest quarterback careers in the making. I'm telling you right now, this kid has it all. But like all great men, it even says it in the Bible, and all great men, all dynasties, all kingdoms have been crushed, destroyed, and fallen at the hands of a woman. Because we get distracted. Look at Samson. Look at King David. Look at Solomon. They all lost their dynasties, their inheritance, and their soul because of a woman. Okay? So I understand her plight. She's a woman herself. She understands the evil that she has between her legs. She knows that. And Jayden Daniels, pause, is a handsome young man. Okay? So he's going to get girls. You know what I'm saying? He's smart. He has charisma. He has the it factor. The boy can ball. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, he's mad humble. He's not cocky. You know what I'm saying? And his soul can't be bought. And he loves the game of football. So she knows all of that. And all of that could be erased in an instant. How many times have we seen a star athlete fall from grace because of a domestic violence situation? Or something happened and he got in an argument or something and she blew it up. Or he lost all of his money because he didn't sign a prenup and he married a hoe. Or he did sign a prenup, but there was a clause, an infidelity clause in there that gets voided. You know what I'm saying? So I get the aspect of her wanting to protect her son. But at the same time, the boy's got to live. You can't keep the leash on him forever. JuJu sat next to this man. They're having a great conversation. You can clearly see there was a vibe there. And again, the media likes to spin stuff. So we don't know exactly what happened. But the way the media spent it, she came down the bleachers. She sat next to Jayden. They started talking and laughing. And then the next scene, you see his mother sitting in between them. This ain't the sock hop. This ain't the gym jam when we need a freaking chaperone to make sure no one spikes the punch.
Not this
Okay? This isn't the school dance where you had to ask your mom for $3 for the admission ticket. You know what I'm saying? Where you gotta, on the Friday before the dance, you gotta go to the girl at her desk, with the cubby under the joint and give her the little folded piece of paper with the question saying, "I like you, do you like me?" Circle yes or no. This ain't that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving her my varsity jacket and my class ring. We're not going steady. I'm a pro athlete. I'm a grown-ass man, and I made you a millionaire because you're my manager. You know what I'm saying? Manage my football career. You can advise on my love life, but you can't manage that either. Bruh, if you look at the clip, Jayden Daniels looked so embarrassed, bro. That was very embarrassing. And he tried to play it off by laughing and joking, but he was embarrassed. Like, just like how LeBron, we got on LeBron with coddling his son. Bronny, it's the same situation with his mom. It's like, look, Ma, like you're overstepping your boundaries now. They could legitimately have been talking, just talking. But like every chick that he talks to is he's smart enough to know now because you're his mom. He's lived with you. You've emphasized your point till the cows came home. So I'm sure every time he looks at a chick, he's probably like, oh, does she check this box? Does she check this box? Does she check this box? JuJu ain't no jump off. She ain't JuJu to jump off. She's JuJu to jump shot. You know what I'm saying? She's got her own money. She's got multi-million-dollar endorsements. She'll be a pro athlete herself, in time. So it's not like she's got a good head on her shoulders. It ain't like she's going to UDC. She's going to USC. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Mom, chill out. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like I'm dropping the one knee on the first damn day. I was just talking to the girl. Bruh, she got up and sat between them on national television.
Whew. All right, Cole, let me ask you what I asked you before we started the show. Is Jayden Daniels more restricted on the field or off the field?
Man, like when you said that earlier, brother, he's more restricted off the field than he is on the field. And that's a good thing because it keeps him in line. Okay. So I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to her, and her opinions. But like when you are doing stuff like that, you might end up causing more damage than you intend. Because if you end up cock blocking like that, you end up turning him into a rebel. What? Hey, you can attest to this. What do they say about PKs?
Hey, they say a lot about PKs, man. They say them boys are wild.
PKs.
That they're wild.
It's because you grew up with so much restriction and so much with a lot of boundaries being set.
When you finally get a taste of freedom, you're like, I'm doing everything.
Great example. Great movie, The Devil's Advocate, with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. If you don't know it, Brodie's great movie. It's probably Keanu Reeves' best acting ever. And that brother can't act. But that was his best acting. But Al Pacino had a part when he was just basically talking about the effects of dabbling in sin. And the more you dabble, the more you get enticed. Where he was like, you're in a situation where you're being told to look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Pause. Taste, but don't swallow. Pause. You know what I'm saying? So if you keep saying, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, eventually when you get that, like Gail Sayer said, that 18 inches of daylight, you're going to take it and run with it. So he may mess around and be like, you know what? Bump that. I'm going out with the boys. I'm going to Vegas for the weekend. My mom ain't here. I ain't tripping. She ain't going to be standing between me and no chick. And he going to end up raw dogging a damn stripper.
And guess what, Cole? To make your point, What day was this? This was only 2 days ago. Well, not yesterday. So let's go 3 days ago. No, yeah, 2 days ago. Because yesterday he went to the game. So 2 days ago, he's with his mom and JuJu. Like you said, the situation happens the way that it happens. The very next day, Jayden Daniels goes to the game by himself. So he may have already, because of the backlash, and like you said earlier, it's one thing for this stuff to happen. It's another thing for it to happen in social media, with the internet, with the way things are today. Because now it's blown up. And this isn't the first time that this has happened. We live in DC, so we've seen him at Wizards games. And we've seen him with his mom at Wizards games.
Right up
and
on
she's
him.
right next to him.
Right up under him.
Right? So because we've seen this wasn't a surprise to us. But now, like you mentioned, Jayden Daniels he's such a star. Anything that happens, this is big news. This was one of the main headlines on the
news feed.
It was like
3 days straight.
It really was. So I didn't really think about it because like when we were talking about it, I'm like, oh, we've seen this before, but that's because we live here. So that's why we've seen it. This is national news now. And that's probably when Jayden was like, all right, Ma, you doing too much. And because of who it is. This is JuJu we talking about. This ain't no regular joke, Ma. This is JuJu Watkins. So hey, what are we doing here?
We ain't sitting up here talk about Diamond at Players Club.
Right. If you're my manager, Mom, this is where you're supposed to get out the way. You're supposed to be a good manager and recognize the opportunity when it appears. So you should be getting out of the way. So he might have already had that conversation with her in just one day of this making national news.
Yeah.
And again, let's go to the question that I asked you. Is he more restricted on the field or off the field? Let's go back to what his coaches said about him. When he first started playing, Dan Quinn said, this kid is different. You talked about it, Co. If you're the mom and you've raised him to be the man that you think he is, and not only you've raised him that way, everybody that meets him says he's a humble kid, says he's a great young man, says he carries himself the right way, says he comes in early and stays late. You've seen him have success on the field. You've heard his coaches. We talked about this. Cliff Kingsbury saying he corrects me. I'm going through the playbook and Jayden is like, oh no, that's not the right play. So this is a fine young man. He's a established, smart, he's a good young man. So sometimes, Mom, you can't do this for him. It's some stuff you can't do for him. And again, Co, you mentioned the PK thing. You mentioned Mama Wiggs at the top of it. I'm a mama's boy. And my mom, I had to say something to my mom today about walking the dog. Like, Ma, I know you want to jump in because you hear the dog crying, but if it's my responsibility, you got to let me do it. Literally just today. So I can JD5, like I can definitely speak to the mama's boy portion of this. And sometimes you have to just communicate your wishes and say, Ma, I got this. Like, this is my fight. This is my battle. You can't have the kids for me. You can't, like, at some point, this is where a man breaks off from his family and becomes, a family. I mean, listen, we're getting very far ahead. This may not even, and I think you said that. It might not have even, they might have just been talking.
Did what he did.
Right.
And also,
right.
Because of that, chicks might not even want to be with this dude now. Be like, yo, I don't know if I want to deal with his mom.
Right. Yeah. We heard stuff like that growing up. Oh, you're a mama's boy. He's a mama. That's a real thing. And the mom husband relationship is a real thing in the Black community, at least. I don't know about other communities, but that's absolutely a real thing in our community, where you have a single mom or a divorced mom, and her son are like a couple.
Yeah.
And that's what this one looks like. And again, if you know that JD5 is
her man right now.
Yeah. If you know that JD5 is going to go off and create a family with somebody else as the mom, you might not be ready for that.
Yeah.
And you might think that you still have to hold on, but you mentioned a good thing with his age, Co. He's 24. He's not 20. you know, he's not 19, 20, 21 coming into the league. He's 24. He's seen some things. He's made it through a full season. This is the next off season. I think mom might be she might have to take the background as far as this next year is coming up, because at some point
she's going to have to dial it back. And
right.
To your point, Wiggs, I think he already has said something to her, because literally the next day he was at the game without her. So I think he's starting to check her before this train really takes off, because once he gets that high paying contract, don't let him win a Super Bowl. Don't let him win an MVP. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to get worse from here, quote unquote. So you can't stop the inevitable. One thing I remember when my aunt was still alive, and my mom, and I told my aunt that, you know, my wife and I were pregnant. And she looked at me, bro. She looked at me. She's like, "What? You had sex?" I'm like, "Auntie, I'm 30 years old." I'm 30
like,
years
and
old.
they be serious. They be really like
she was
my baby. Yeah.
Like, my mom was like, she's like, "Margaret, what? Like, he's married. He's 30. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's what married couples
That's what they do, right?" You know? And she's like, "No, that's still my young boy."
Yeah, like and mothers had that. You know, my mom, even now, I'm 40 years old. I'm 14 years old. I got gray hairs. My lower back hurts randomly. My knees hurt when it's about to rain. The whole nine.
Hey, nah, that's real.
Talk about old school stuff. I hate the new music that they play on the radio.
Get off my lawn.
I understand what they're saying. Okay, hey. All of that. I am an old head. I am 10 years away from being AARP certified. You know what I'm saying? And my mom still, every time I call her, she still says, "All right, baby boy." I'm like,
hey, that's mom. That's a mom's love, man. You can always be baby boy to her.
It's like, we get it, Mom. We get it. We understand. You don't want nobody. No one's ever going to be good enough for us.
No one can replace you, Mom.
Yeah. Nobody will ever replace you. I get that. But at the same time, my dupes, let a player play. Because how did I get here? Because you got clapped. Okay? So how am I supposed to pass on the family name? I gotta clap something.
Hey, gotta clap something.
You cannot stop that. She can do whatever she can do all she can. She cannot stop Jayden Daniels from getting some, man. She can't be around 24/7.
And also this, Co, she can't stop him from getting his heart broken.
That too.
It may not be inevitable, but you know, hopefully he finds a great woman and they have a great marriage and everything just goes great.
Yeah, but nobody's perfect.
Exactly. And if you're not getting that experience, I mean, you know, the new generation is doing things differently. Like they're saying the younger generation is not drinking as much as we did. That's good.
Yeah.
They're saying the young generation is not having as much sex and they're not even dating as much as we did. And if it is cap, the point I'm trying to make is, let's say kids are focusing on their career a little bit more. Jayden Daniels, for example. You know, Jayden is not dating as much as maybe Deion Sanders was when he was, you know, when Deion was coming out of school, it was like, you know, I got women. I got 2 women with me. You know, I'm doing that type of thing. When we think about what's the movie with Ray Allen?
He Got Game.
He Got Game. It's about getting women and going to do this and all of that. Loving basketball. You're falling in love in school. You know, now this generation is, let me get my money. JuJu, for instance. Ain't nobody really talking about JuJu and dating until this Jayden Daniels thing.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, JuJu's focused on ball. So when it comes to that part with the younger generation, if they are focusing on that, that's a good thing in my opinion. However, when it comes time to date, you're still going to have to learn how to communicate, how to socialize. It's one thing to talk to a woman at a game. It's another thing to live with a woman. It's another thing to have to figure out who's going to pick up the kids after school. It's another thing to figure out what's for dinner every night. And who's making it? Shit, is JuJu making it? Listen, we're putting the cart before the horse.
JuJu cook.
Right. Like it's a lot of stuff to this conversation, but that's something he's gonna have to figure out, and he's gonna have to figure it out. Because if I'm Jayden Daniels, I want a little Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
So when is that gonna happen? Like, a lot of players in the league are getting married. I mean, it just, this is life. So yeah, she can't get in the way of that stuff. There's some stuff that as a mom, you can't help your son do everything.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to let him. And again, he's proven that he's the type of young man that you should trust. I think that's what it comes down to. Me, it comes down to trust. And that's one of the things that I love about Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury for the Commanders. You saw the trust immediately. He earned it. First, he earned it. And once he earned it, you saw the trust. They gained more trust. They gained more respect for him as the season went along. By the end of the season, not even by the end of the season, Cole, how many fourth downs did the Commanders go for this year? And how many did they actually get?
They were like 12 for 14, 12 for 16. They had like
and at some point, they were like perfect. Right. Yeah. It was like one of the best conversion rates for fourth down in history.
Yeah.
And this is as a rookie. You know, these are things that are just not common. So when it comes to decision making, when it comes to character, when it comes to all of those things that you want your son to have, Jayden Daniels has it. Now, mom, you just gotta trust him. You just gotta let him do his thing.
Well said. Definitely agree with that. And that's the mic drop there for you, Brodies. Let us know what you think. You need to be following us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Click on the bottom right-hand corner on the YouTube channel to subscribe. We are approaching 500,000 views. And like and share on the comments. Moving forward, I'll probably say after next week's episode, we're going to be doing some call-in segments. We've been getting a lot of requests from people to join the Brodies and chop it up with us. We'll see if they want the smoke, because I don't know if y'all know it, but we are a Hattori Hanzo sword sharp over here, boy. That's how sharp we are with the analytics. So that's it for today's show, y'all. Again, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We definitely appreciate the love and support. But until then, it's the Lord here, co-war with my main man, Jay Wiggs, signing out here. We'll see y'all next week, y'all. Peace.